is ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಸರಿ ಸರ್ ಈ ಕಟ್ ಪಿಸಿ ಕಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಇದು ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ನೋಡಿ
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
ಕಾಣಂಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಎರಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೆಲವು ಹಿಂದೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲ 3 ಕಾಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಂ ಬಾತ್ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವ
ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಲೇಟ್ ಸರ್ ಯಾರೋ ಅದ 48
Good morning, dear students.
Good morning, sir.
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 Good morning,
Good morning, sir.
sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very nice to hear from you all. Hope you are fine in
All the best for your study. अरे तू काय लिहिलं त्याचं अजित अरे अजितचं स्पेलिंग पण रॉंग लिहिलं तू अजित है ते
Hope you all are fine at this pandemic situation. You know the schedule already, as it is a topic of today's pandemic. This thing, lung is one of the important organ which is involved in the corona pandemic situation. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Since I wanted to show you the lungs, so I directly brought the lungs to the theater here, the media center. So we'll see directly the lung only. I think theory part has been already covered. So we'll directly go for the discussion on lung. Okay. Hope the lung is visible to you all. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. After once you speak, just mute yourself because I am with gloves and all. I cannot mute you. Fine. You see a lung here. Can anybody tell me if I throw this lung in water, whether it sinks down or floats up? Can anyone?
Floats.
Float.
This lung will float on water, right? Why so?
Air-filled cavities.
Correct. So it contains air. The same thing in case of stillborn baby. I mean to say, just born baby, still the first respiration has not occurred. Such lung, if it is poured into water, whether it sinks down or floats up. Am I clear with my question?
Sinks down.
Okay, I'm repeating the question. Stillborn lung, I mean to say, just born baby's lung. If you put it in water, still the first respiration has not occurred. That lung you are putting in the water, whether it sinks down or floats up.
It sinks down.
Floats
Sink
up?
down.
Yes, it should sink down.
Sinks.
As you say, the adult lung is,
It should sink, sir.
yeah, it is already filled with the air cavities. And the neonate lung, just born, stillborn lung is not having air cavity still respiration has not occurred. So it automatically sinks down. Okay, so that gives us some important clues on the lung. Okay, first and foremost, as you say, lung is porous in nature. We say pores, porous. Porous is actually contains many number of openings, cavities are the air-filled cavities within the lung. If you cut this and see, it is actually having many air-filled cavities within. Okay, so that is the one of the important character. Porous is the character. Second thing is, it is actually elastic in nature. If I squeeze, see here, it is again reappearing, having a characteristic of elastic appearance. Second character. Third character of a lung is, it is actually spongy in texture. See here, if I squeeze it, see, again, it is having a characteristic of sponge like. If I squeeze, it is actually giving me a feel of sponge texture. So because of presence of air-filled cavities, they have been filled with air. Now it is actually embalming fluid has entered here. So it gives the fluid now. Okay. So this is giving a spongy texture now. So these are the three characteristics of lung. Number one, it was porous. Number two, it was elastic. Number three, lung is spongy in characteristic. What is the color of lung? Anyone? Color of lung. You are seeing the color already. Whether it is normal or abnormal. Yes. Normal?
Yes,
Normal.
Normal color? Do you see this black appearance? Do you think it is normal or abnormal?
Normal, sir.
This right
normal,
lung.
sir.
Normal only?
Normal, sir. Normal, sir.
Very good. You have already learned many things, I feel. When I was in a dissection class, the first table student were saying that this person was smoking a lot. This lung is completely filled with carbon dioxide. So it is totally darker in appearance, they were telling. Are they who are talking on that table number 1? They are here? Table number 1. Students from table number 1.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are discussing like that, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean to say, they had a doubt that the dark coloration of the lung is due to the deposition of carbon particle by the smoking. This is what they had a concept in their mind. Okay, but now you all clearly told it is not due to the abnormality. It is a normal thing because in each respiration, we are exhaling the carbon dioxide. Definitely we have the deposition of carbon particles in the lung here, so the color is like that. Stillborn lung, just born lung will be pinkish in appearance, normal color, and the lung after the respiration once it begins, color changes to mottled black to mottled grayish to black in appearance. So you are seeing the normal appearance of the thing here. Okay, this is very much normal in color. Okay, it is not an abnormal color. Yes, correct. So we were looking at the morphological features, external features of the lung. We saw a few characteristics. Now we are looking into the size of the lung. What is the size? It is approximately weighs around the right lung. If you look at right lung, okay, this is the right lung what I am holding here, and this is the left lung in the left hand, right lung in the right hand I am holding here. The right lung is looking heavier than the left lung, so clearly it indicates right lung is heavier, approximately 700 to 680 to 720 in a range grams. It is in grams. Okay, the left lung weighs around 600 to 650 grams. 600 to 650 grams in weight. Okay, and as we all know already, lung is situated in the thorax. Lung is situated in the thorax. Okay, it is covered by the pleura. Already pleura you have studied pleura. Okay, now we are seeing the among the two layers of pleura, the visceral layer you are seeing it here. Can you see the peeled layer here? This layer what I am pulling is actually the visceral layer of pleura. The parietal layer has gone along with the body only. It is there on the inner side of thoracic cavity. So the visceral pleura you are looking as the outermost covering in the lung here. So that is why it is called as visceral pleura, lining the external surfaces of lung. That is visceral pleura. Okay. Now, as we say location and all, lung is said to invaginate into the pleura. I have another question now. Whether the lung is situated within the pleural cavity or outside the pleural cavity. I just want to know your understanding, what you have understood so far. Whether the lung is situated within the pleural cavity or outside the pleural cavity. Can anyone answer?
Within, sir.
Within the pleural cavity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody having other answer other than yes? Anybody is having other answer? All are saying yes. Now tell me. You told lung is situated in the pleural cavity. Can you tell me where the pleural fluid is situated? Pleural fluid. Pleural fluid is situated in?
Between the two layers of the lungs.
So what is that two layer? The space is called as? What is that space is called as?
Pleural space.
Pleural space.
Pleural cavity.
That is nothing but the pleural cavity. I was asking you a clear-cut question saying that whether the lung is inside the pleural cavity or outside the pleural cavity. So don't be in a confusion that lung is situated within the pleural cavity. It is a wrong answer. It is situated outside the pleural cavity but entirely enclosed by the pleura. Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir.
It is not within the pleural cavity. Within the pleural cavity, we have pleural fluid. Okay, and it is situated. It is covered by the entirely. It is covered by the visceral pleura. We have a visceral pleura. Entirely, it encircles it, covers it completely, and parietal pleura goes outside this. So between this visceral pleura and parietal pleura, we have this space where actually the pleural fluid is situated. Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Fine, good. Now, moving on to the external features of the lung. You just look into the shape of the lung. I'll just rotate it. You see the shape of it. I think already just before leaving Bijapur, you all have seen the lung and went. Now, you have an opportunity to see it once again. And this is the lung shape. What is the shape of the lung now? What is the appearance now? How does it appear? Does it appear like a pyramid? Does it appear like a pyramid? Yes,
Yes, sir.
So here we
Yes,
have
sir.
a apex, and here is the base. Okay, as we say a pyramid, it should have an apex, it should have a base, and having three surfaces. Okay, and three borders. Surfaces include the first and foremost. This is the sternocostal surface here. This is the sternocostal surface, and here is the medial surface. And third surface, usually some book mention the inferior surface. So usually we see two surfaces. Third one is as a base itself considered as the inferior surface. So medial and lateral surface you can say, medial surface and sternocostal surface we can say. Border includes the anterior border. Can you see the sharp anterior border here? This is the anterior border. And do you see the posterior border here? This posterior border. And the third border I am showing you here, this inferior border. This is the third border. Hope I am making the point clear. Is it visible, borders and all?
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay, thank you. So I was just showing you the apex, the base, base, and anterior border and posterior border. Posterior border is here, okay, and the inferior border. Inferior border is here. This is the inferior border. So altogether, external features I told: one apex, one base, two surfaces, three borders I was mentioning about. Okay, let us see each of the external features one by one. Apex is situated above. And which is lodged above the first rib or above the Here you can see a clear-cut groove on this. The upper part, what we are looking at here, this is the apex part, okay, covered by the cervical pleura, and this apex is situated in the root of neck. I'm saying you root of neck, remember. So it is situated very closely in the neck itself, and it lies, I told you clearly, above the first rib. Can you see the marking over here? This marking, this groove is actually for the first rib, and we'll have one more groove here for the clavicle. So I was telling you, apex lies above the first rib and above the clavicle. Clavicle and first rib are here only. So this part of lung is above the first rib and clavicle. But the posterior end of a first rib, if you see, it lies almost at the same size. And apex has been covered by suprapleural membrane or Simpson's fascia. Suprapleural membrane or Simpson's fascia. Simpson's fascia or suprapleural membrane will be a 3-mark question for you. Please note it down. Simpson's fascia or suprapleural membrane. It is actually a triangular layer like this, having an apex above. I'm talking about suprapleural membrane or Simpson's fascia. You should write it for 3 mark. Having an apex, having a base. Apex is attached to the 7th cervical vertebra, transverse process of 7th cervical vertebra. Base is attached to the inner border of first rib, having two surfaces, external surface and internal surface. Internal surface is closely covering the lung. External surface is related to the scalene muscles. Am I clear on the Simpson's fascia?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All are there?
Yes, sir.
You want physically
Yes,
as well
sir.
as mentally now? Not only mentally. Huh?
Yes, sir.
You should not just keep it on and go somewhere for eating something, chit-chatting with somebody. If I unmute all, I can understand how many are there in class. Fine, okay. So that was the apex. We can have a relation. See, since it is a thoracic inlet, we can see good number of relations in front, lateral, medial, and posteriorly. here because it is situated in the neck only. Neck is a narrow constricted area. Many of the structures from the head, neck, or the upper limb, they are moving towards the thorax here. So definitely those all structures will be related around the apical part of lung here. So in front, if you see in front, we will have a relation of here, the subclavian artery, we will have anterior intercostal artery, and we'll also have the phrenic nerve. We will also have posteriorly the sympathetic trunk runs behind, okay, and we will have a posterior intercostal artery, and first intercostal vein. In the azygous vein, if you remember, first intercostal vein moves over here only. Are the three structures lying posteriorly. And medially, if you could remember, you will have a trachea, lung, and the structures like small nerves and all will be related over here. Even the blood vessels, major blood vessels, since our heart apical part of the pericardium will be lying at this level only. So the structures of the major branches from the aorta will be situated in the medial side only. Okay. So I was telling you the relations in front, relations on lateral side, relations on posterior and medial side. Okay. Try to recollect them once. Okay. Coming to the base. Base, if you look at, before going to the base, let me tell you the clinical importance of the apex here. As it is a narrow area between, see, the first rib is like this on both the sides. First rib is like this. So there are many structures. I told you subclavian artery, I told you subclavian vein, first intercostal nerve, first posterior intercostal artery, intercostal vein, and even the internal thoracic artery and sympathetic trunk. Like that, many structures, trachea, esophagus, and all. Many structures are situated around the apex here. When they all are present here, if any abnormal growth within this small area between two ribs, first ribs, okay, if any abnormal growth occurs here, will definitely leads to compression of the surrounding structure here. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Any abnormality?
sir.
Very correct. Very good. So any abnormality or abnormal growth in the lung at apex will definitely lead to compression of the surrounding structure related here, which will lead to thoracic inlet syndrome. Thoracic inlet syndrome will be a clinical important question for you. Okay, when it occurs either by from the lung or carcinoma of the lung or any abnormal tuberculosis or any other abnormal growth occurs here, will definitely lead to compression of all these things. Number one, if it compresses the esophagus, what will happen? Difficulty in swallowing, dysphagia we call it as. If it compresses the trachea, in the medial side we had trachea, esophagus. So if it compresses the trachea, it will lead to dyspnea, difficulty in breathing. Okay, and if it compresses the arteries which were very closely situated from the aorta, like subclavian artery, common carotid artery, and we have brachiocephalic trunk, if these vessels are compressed, will lead to reduced blood supply to the respective regions where these arteries were going. If the subclavian artery is compressed, upper limb growth will be retarded. If the common carotid artery is compressed, will have a low growth on the head and neck aspect, okay, and definitely ischemic changes will occur in the head and neck, okay, and brachiocephalic trunk also the same, both right upper limb and head and neck region will be compressed over here. Okay. Similarly, the internal thoracic artery, if it is compressed, will have the reduced blood supply towards the diaphragm and towards the intra-abdominal wall. Like that, there are many complications will lead here due to the, even the phrenic nerve is passing here, vagus nerve is passing here. Compression of these two nerves will again lead to some more other complications. Like phrenic nerve, if it is compressed, will lead to hiccups and irritation to the diaphragm will occur, and similarly the vagus nerve, if it is compressed, definitely will lead to disturbance in the stomach nerve supply. So these all are the complications due to the thoracic inlet syndrome. Hope I am clear on thoracic inlet syndrome. You should write this for 5 mark, thoracic inlet syndrome. So here is the thoracic inlet between two first ribs. Now coming to the base. Base is a wide area which is actually crude here. You can very nicely see here. It is concave upwards. It is concave upwards, situated within the boundary of inferior border, and we'll have a relation of here the pleura immediately, then the diaphragm. After diaphragm, on the right side we will have a liver. And on the left side, fundus of stomach and the spleen will be related on the left side. I repeat, the relation of base or inferior surface. Immediately we will have a relation of pleura, then diaphragm on both the sides. Now on right side we will have a right lobe of liver, and on the left side we will have left lobe of liver, fundus of stomach, then the spleen. All three structures will be related on the left side. I am clear on base. Moving on to the borders. 3 borders I was mentioning you. Anterior border you are looking into. Anterior border, this is actually the anatomical position what I am holding. Okay, this is how you should hold it in a palm. Base, you should keep it on your palm like this and make the anterior surface in front, apex above. This is how you should hold it in position. Now anterior border to trace, it starts from the apex. It is having a groove for the first rib here and for the clavicle, then it moves all the way inferiorly. From there it slightly moves downwards up to 4th rib. Then onwards it takes an immediate deviation towards the left side. You can see the deviation of a anterior border on left lung. I am holding in the left hand. Look at this properly. It is taking a deviation towards the left side, then reaches the 6th intercostal cartilage, and then continues as the inferior border. At this area, when it is going, it has formed an depression. This depression is called as cardiac notch. Listen carefully. This is called as cardiac notch. And after this cardiac notch, once again it moves back in the form of lingula. Can you see this lingula? This is the lingula. I am showing you with the fingers. Lingula here. This is the lingula. Lingula, the word meaning is extra projection. Extra projection is seen over here. So in the anterior border, there are clear-cut differences I have shown you in the left lung only. There is a cardiac notch. There is a lingula seen in the left lung. Same thing if you see it on right lung here, you don't see any such cardiac notch. See, the border is very much straight here. No such lingular appearance is seen here. This is what we see in case of right lung. I repeat, right lung is very much straight. Anterior border of right lung is very much straight here. But the same thing in case of left lung, you are seeing an cardiac notch and lingula. Am I clear on the difference between the lungs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are many more differences.
Yes,
in the future, I will talk on one by one, but presently I have told you one difference. Coming to the anterior border, I told you. Then posterior border. Posterior border is actually a blunt border. It is more or less like a surface only, okay, and which is situated in the paravertebral gutter. On each side of the behind the vertebra, it is situated in, and this area is related to the vertebrae up to 10th. 1 to 10th vertebrae are related over here, okay, and this is the posterior border. And here I was showing you the anterior border. Then coming to the inferior border. I'm just making you a point here very clearly. I'm starting you here. You see, I'm just tracing it all around the base. You are finding the inferior border here. Inferior border of lung is very sharp border, which will be starting in the front at the level of zipisternum at the level of 6th rib, then at the level of mid-clavicular line, middle of the clavicle, it lies at the level of 8th rib, at mid-clavicular again 6th rib, and in the mid-axillary line, it lies at the level of 8th rib, and in the posterior line or paravertebral line, the inferior border extends up to the 10th rib. I was telling you the inferior border extension, okay? Inferior border, it takes a turn in such a way that in front it lies at the level of 6th rib, in the mid axillary line 8th rib, and in the posterior line or paravertebral line it lies around 10th rib. So I clearly mentioned you 6, 8 and 10th are the areas where the inferior border of lung is situated over here. You can have a parietal pleura here which lies 2 rib below the visceral pleura or the lung here. So there only we have costodiaphragmatic pleural recess. Costodiaphragmatic pleural recess, the gap what we are seeing between visceral pleura or the lung and the parietal pleura. Okay, so that was the inferior border. This inferior border, now if you feel difficulty in understanding, you try to read it once, the parietal pleura and the lung inferior border. Once you read it, you will understand it once again. If you have a confusion, you can call me and ask on this. Definitely I can understand. You will not be able to understand this by now. Okay, coming to the surfaces. We have the sternocostal surface or the lateral surface. Here this is the outer surface or sternocostal surface, where we'll have a relation of the visceral pleura, parietal pleura and the thoracic wall. When the thoracic wall is seen here, we can see the grooves for the different ribs here, especially the upper 6 to 8 ribs are making a grooves on this surface. You see here, you are finding some grooves, number 1, number 2, number 3. So grooves and elevations on the sternocostal surface, are due to the presence of intercostal space and the rib on thoracic wall. So because of the same reason, this surface is called as sternocostal surface. I told you upper 6 to 8th rib are related on this surface. Ribs already grooves are, you are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see here. Here you can see 8th also. Okay, so are related on this surface. Coming to the medial surface, this is whole what we are seeing here is the medial surface. Among the medial surface, which is divided into, the posterior vertebral part and anterior mediastinal part. I repeat, medial surface. I told you sternocostal surface already. Now I am telling you the whole medial surface. In the medial surface, I was showing you a small posterior part which is called as vertebral surface, and a larger anterior part which is actually called as mediastinal surface. Whole of the medial surface itself is mostly dominated by the mediastinal surface. Now let us concentrate on the mediastinal surface. Shall we look into it? Mediastinal surface.
Yes,
Sir.
Yeah. Are you all there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Physically and mentally?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Nobody is sleeping?
No, sir.
Very good.
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No, sir.
Are you able to see the lung properly? Because you will be watching in mobile and all.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
If you have any difficulty in like because internet and what I am showing the view, if there are any difficulties, if you let me know, I can rectify immediately.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
No such difficulties.
No, sir.
Very good.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Now we are moving on to the. I told you vertebral surface is a small part which is situated behind, and most of the area is actually the mediastinal surface. I was telling you. By now you know what is mediastinal surface also. Mediastinal surface is the one which forms the mediastinum in the middle. Between two lungs, we will have a space. That space itself is the mediastinal space. If you look at here, now I'm showing you both the lungs, anterior, right and left lung, both the lungs I'm showing you. So between these two lung space, what we are finding here is the mediastinum, where the heart is located. So I'm showing you the heart location exactly. This is how the lungs are located. Fine. Now moving on to the mediastinal surface. By now you might have heard about the hilum and root of lung. Have you heard about?
Yes, sir.
Can
Yes, sir.
anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me what is root of lung? What is hilum of lung? Definitely, we will have a both 3 or 5 mark question. Hilum of lung and root of lung will be 3 or 5 mark questions. Can anybody tell me? If anybody have understood? No?
Connects the medial surface of the lung to the mediastinum.
Once again.
To the lung connects the medial surface of the mediastinum.
You were saying something, but I was unable to hear you properly. Maybe the network issue. I'll just tell you by now one thing. For a room, you will have an entrance door and there are structure passing through it. Two different things are there. One is the entrance gate and the another one is structure passing through it. So among these two, which is root, which is hilum? What do you think? Which is root, which is hilum? Can you think on that?
Sir, root is the collection of structures.
Yes.
And they pass through hilum.
Very good, very good. That is what I wanted to make you understand. See, by now it is very clear that hilum is an entry gate, okay, and the root is the structure passing through it. Exactly correct. Now come to the lung now. So what is the hilum in relation with the lung here? I was already telling you, lung is actually invaginated into the pleura, So what has happened here is the visceral pleura is coming all the way and entirely encircles the lung and continues as a parietal pleura. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or to make you understand much more, okay, imagine I have a balloon here, Now in this balloon, I am putting my hand now. So balloon was there, I am pressing my hand inside the balloon now, okay, and one layer of a balloon is encircling my hand, other layer is outside here. So there are two layers present here like this. So when it comes on one side where the entrance was there, where the structure was entering, the visceral layer is continued with the organ and parietal layer is continued with the thoracic cavity. So there it has formed pulmonary ligament. Do you remember? Exactly here, the pulmonary ligament was formed here. So if you write on visceral pleura and parietal pleura in the around the root, that becomes hilum. that is the entry gate. Visceral pleura and parietal pleura, they together they form an entry gate over here. Okay, and which contains root of lung. Hilum contains root of lung. Now let me explain you what are the structures present in root of lung. As we all know already, we have the first and foremost content bronchus, second content pulmonary artery, third content pulmonary vein, the fourth content bronchial vessels, and fifth content lymphatics, and sixth content lymphatic nerve flexus. Are the different content pass through the hilum of lung here. Let us see what are those 6 contents. First one we say principal bronchi, bronchus. Bronchus is nothing but a trachea which divides into 2 principal bronchi, one on left side, two on right side. So principal bronchi has entered here. Usually one goes towards left side, 2 goes towards the right side. So 2 principal bronchi on the right, 1 principal bronchi on left side here. Okay, and then the principal bronchi divides into secondary, tertiary, like that, segmental and lobar and segmental branches. Okay, principal bronchus. Second thing we told pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery, if you trace it, it is actually the one which was coming from the right atrium. Right atrium was giving the pulmonary trunk. Pulmonary trunk divides into pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery moves one on each side. Right side one and left side one. So there are 2 pulmonary arteries, one on right side, one on left side. Then pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins, when we say, we moved from right atrium to lung now. So from lung to left atrium, we should come back now. We should come back. So while coming back, we have a veins bringing blood from the lung towards the left atrium. Those are the pulmonary veins. There are 2 pulmonary veins on each side, right and left. Altogether, there are 4 pulmonary veins present here. 4 pulmonary veins. 2 on right side, 2 on left side here. Pulmonary veins. Then bronchial artery. Bronchial artery. What is this? Why it is? We'll talk a bit later on. Bronchial artery supplies blood to the lung here. Bronchial vein and bronchial artery, and lymphatic channel, nerve flexus will be present over here. So these were the structures what we saw. So all together on the left side, I'm just concluding, listen carefully. Structure present are 1 bronchus, 1 pulmonary artery, 2 pulmonary veins, and bronchial artery will be present here. Similarly, on the right side, we will have 2 principal bronchus. They are called as eparterial bronchi and hyparterial bronchi. Remember it, eparterial and hyparterial bronchi. Then there is 1 pulmonary artery and 2 pulmonary veins. Okay, and then bronchial vessel comes here. So are the important structure what we have seen here. As we trace the structures in the hilum, of lung. Okay, bronchus, how do we should identify here? How to identify the bronchus here? How to identify, can anybody tell? How do you identify bronchus?
Cartilage, C shape.
Very good, exactly. So if you touch these all things, one among them will be harder, like a bone appearance. So cartilage feel will be there. So I am feeling a cartilage appearance here. I am having a left lung in my hand. Remember, I am explaining by holding in anatomical position. So I should hold it in left hand. So I am trying to make you understand first left lung, then I am going to the right lung for all the features. Okay. So similarly, here I am showing you the contents of hilum. The first one I shown you, the bronchus. So how many bronchus now?
One.
Left lung.
One.
Yes, very good. Then
One bronch.
One bronch.
very correct, very correct. Then we have, there are some veins seen over here, veins seen over here. I'm just trying to show you with the forceps. Look at this one vein here. Vein valves, vein wall will be thin in appearance. Hope this view is clear to you all. Look at this vein. Is this view clear? Can you see this wall, this vein?
Yes.
Can you see my forceps is in the vein?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One more is
Yes, sir.
here. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Two veins, pulmonary
Yes, sir.
veins I was showing you. Look at the structure, one more present over here. Can you see this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Compare the wall of this and compare the wall of this vein. Do you see any difference here? If you look at this venous wall, it is collapsed almost. And look at this arterial wall, it is very thick in appearance and pinkish in appearance. Here it is darker in appearance. Can you feel these changes in the pulmonary artery and vein?
Yes, sir.
I'm just telling you first difference. The venous wall is collapsed and thin. Arterial wall is thick and elastic in nature. This is what I was telling you. Please mute yourself. Who is that? Who is disturbing? I have a gloves. I cannot mute you. So you should able to identify the walls by looking at the walls, pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein here. It looks like two here. Usually just before entering the pulmonary lung, pulmonary artery will divide into different branches to supply the different lobes. So similarly it has divided here. Okay. Now in the root of left lung, structures arranged here includes from anterior to posterior. Okay, they are B, A, B. I repeat, pulmonary vein, superior pulmonary vein, and pulmonary artery and bronchus. Bronchus. Shall I show with the forceps? This is pulmonary from anterior to posterior. V, pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, and pulmonary bronchus are the three things what we see here from anterior to posterior. From above downwards, we can see the pulmonary artery, bronchus, and inferior pulmonary vein now. You can see now A, B, B. I repeat, A, B, B. Is it visible to you all? It is a bit
Yes, sir.
difficult to understand. I'm trying to make you somehow at least try to remember the things. I told you from above downwards, pulmonary artery, bronchus, and inferior pulmonary vein. From anterior to posterior, I told you pulmonary, superior pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, and bronchus. Structures from above downwards, you can remember by a mnemonic A, B, V. That is Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Do you know Atal Bihari Vajpayee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good.
Yes,
So
sir.
A, B, V. That is Atal Bihari Vajpayee was on left side. Okay. Look at the same thing on the right side. Right side, what has happened? So what should happen now on the right side? What are the changes you should notice now?
Two principal bronchus.
Yes, there should be two principal bronchus. Okay, is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Just
Yes.
try to identify. Now I am showing you structures, the structures present in the root of right lung now. Right lung I am showing you. Look at the border, you can identify here. So they includes the first bronchus here. Do you notice this bronchus? And below one more bronchus here. So two bronchus, eparterial bronchus, hyparterial bronchus. Do you notice here? 1 and 2. Eparterial bronchus, hyparterial bronchus. Here we have pulmonary artery. Do you see the pulmonary artery here? This whole structure is pulmonary artery. And here you see the pulmonary vein and pulmonary vein one more here. Shall I show it once again?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the eparterial bronchus. This is hyparterial bronchus, pulmonary artery, superior pulmonary vein, inferior pulmonary vein. You are seeing some small bronchial vessels here, small bronchial vessels. Okay, I am more concentrated on bronchus, pulmonary artery, and pulmonary vein. Now, from anterior to posterior, they have been arranged again similar like a left lung only. V, A, B. That is superior pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, and bronchus here, hyparterial bronchus, V, A, B. Yes. From above downwards, now they include B, A, B, V. That is eparterial bronchus, pulmonary artery, hyparterial bronchus, inferior pulmonary vein, B, A, B, V. I told you on the left side, it was A, B, V. That was Atal Bihari Vajpayee. On the same thing in right side, we can remember he was a bachelor. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was bachelor. So, bachelor Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Remember a mnemonic. Atal Bihari Vajpayee for lungs. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's actually, you may feel difficulty in identifying through the cams and all. Once you come lively in dissection, definitely we'll make an arrangement to see you once again these structures in the mobile camera. I don't know how much clarity is there with your mobile. At least try to remember one eparterial bronchus is additional to the left lung is present in right lung. That is what I wanted to convey you in the root of lung. Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Along with
Yes,
that,
sir.
I showed you the bronchial vessels.
Yes, sir.
And here you could also see the pulmonary ligament and some lymphatic fluxus and all nerve fluxus also will be present over here. Now, coming to the other features in case of mediastinal surface here. Okay, so here we have seen in the root we have seen. Now we should see the remaining part. Again, I am coming back to the left lung only. Again, left lung. So anterior inferior area having a greater depression here, notch for the heart here, where actually the left side of the heart is situated over here. This is called as cardiac area. This whole area is for the heart, where heart is related over here. I am showing you on left side. From the heart, we will have a wide groove going upwards here, which is for the ascending aorta, then arch of aorta, then descending aorta. Can you notice this larger groove on the left lung here?
Yes, sir.
You just look into this
Yes, sir.
whole large groove here.
Yes,
Groove.
sir.
This larger groove is made for ascending aorta, arch of aorta, and descending thoracic aorta. Okay, we saw cardiac area, we saw groove for ascending arch and descending aorta. Then from the aorta, what should be there here? We will have, see here, these grooves, this 1 and 2 groove are especially for the branches going from arch of aorta. They include, they are on left side, left subclavian artery, then left common carotid artery, then the brachiocephalic trunk. Especially left subclavian and left common carotid artery will be related over here. Along with that, in the front here, we will have relation of phrenic nerve. Behind, we will have a relation of vagus nerve. Then esophagus. Esophagus is the one which all the way travels from neck to the abdomen all the way. So it is throughout present in the thorax. While in the thorax, it deviates twice towards left side, once towards right side. It is going like this, left, right, left. It is taking a curve from starting from left side, left, right, left. So it appears 2 times in the left lung. One closely in the upper part, close to the apex. Once close to the descending thoracic aorta, between pulmonary ligament and thoracic aorta. Here it is related. So these were the relation of esophagus. So do you remember the different impressions seen on the left lung? Shall I repeat once? Number 1,
Yes,
cardiac
sir.
area, ascending aorta, arch of aorta, descending aorta, left subclavian vein, left subclavian artery, left common carotid artery are related over here. We can even see the pulmonary trunk at this region, and we will also see esophagus twice, once above, once below here. So where the relations of the left lung. Same thing now I am showing you on the right lung. Look at here. Do you see some differences? Yes, we have definitely the same cardiac area is seen here. Same cardiac area is seen. Okay, but the thing is, we don't have that arches what we saw. Do you see any arch here? Arch of aorta, descending thoracic aorta. So aortic groove is not there. It is clearly indicating here that aortic impression is seen on the left side only. We may have a small groove for superior vena cava, and similarly another groove here for the inferior vena cava. At this area, we will also see the groove for inferior vena cava, and superior vena cava is joined by the arch of azygous vein. Azygous vein, you know, a small groove is visible here. You see, this is the small groove for azygous vein. We will see the arch for azygous vein, which is very much smaller as compared to a wider arch on the left side, which is for the aorta. Along with that, on the right side, we will also see the tracheal impression. You look at here, we will see a trachea present over here, because trachea, when it comes, it straight away deviates towards right side only. So trachea is directly present here, having an impression here. And when I told esophagus, I was mentioning you left, right, left. Means above and below it was on left side. In the middle, definitely it comes here on the right side also. So in this way, it is related once on the esophagus is related once on the right side. Am I clear on the relation of right lung?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Moving on to the. Shall I repeat once the structures related in the right lung?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, this is the cardiac area. Right side of the heart is related. Inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, and then you can imagine even right and left brachiocephalic vein, and the azygous vein, trachea, and the esophagus were related over here. Similarly, the phrenic nerve and the vagus nerve are also related in front and behind the root. Okay. That was about the different relations of mediastinal surface here. Different relations.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Sir, is there a group for brachiocephalic vein?
Yes, I told no. Right and left brachiocephalic vein may be seen over here. We can see left one here, right one here. It will be there. It will be there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Huh? So that will be there. So these were the structures related on the mediastinal surface. Now coming to the bronchial vessels. Bronchial vessels, as I was telling you, these are the small structures. Only one side I have shown you, on the left side I have shown you. So they include one bronchial artery will supply the right lung, two will be there on left lung here. Okay. As we see the lung, okay, what about the blood supply of this lung now? What is the function of this pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein and bronchial artery and vein, what we are seeing? So what could be the functions? Which is the artery to give the nourishment for the lung here? Any idea on this? Okay, let me tell you two things. In the lung, we have two parts actually. One is the conducting part and another one is the respiratory part. Conducting part is the one which is made up of tracheobronchial tree. Tracheobronchial tree, like principal bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, all those things the tracheobronchial tree includes. The alveoli, what is there? That includes the respiratory part. So two parts are present in the lung here. So the nourishment to these two areas is totally different. The bronchial vessels, what I told you, they take an action to supply the nourishment to tracheobronchial tree. Tracheobronchial tree. The conducting system will be supplied by bronchial vessels. The pulmonary area or respiratory area will be supplied by the pulmonary vessels which are present locally. Locally the gaseous exchange was going on. There only they take their oxygenation. Hope it is clear about the blood supply of lung. We have pulmonary veins, pulmonary arteries. Pulmonary arteries are the one to bring deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle towards the lung. Pulmonary veins are the one which carry oxygenated blood from the lung towards the left atrium. By this way, when the gaseous exchange is taking place in the alveoli, they help us in the nourishment of the local alveoli. That was the blood supply for the pulmonary part or the respiratory part. Conducting system I told you by the bronchial vessels. I told you there are two bronchial artery on left side, one bronchial artery on the right side. Hope it is clear. Coming to the lymphatic drainage, there are a huge group of lymph nodes present around the root of lung. There is like retropulmonary, superior, inferior and all. There are many group of lymph nodes present over here around the lungs here. Finally, now I come to a conclusion to make a difference between right and left lung. Right and left lung. Shall we look into the difference between right and left lung? The last part?
Yes, sir.
If you want, you can note down one by one points. Okay. Weight of the lung on right side. Here is the right lung. Here is the left lung. Both lung I am holding now. Futures I'll ask you one by one. Then I'll come to the conclusion. Right lung, what is the weight? I told you it is heavier, 700 grams. Okay, is 600 to 650. Left one is 600 to 650. Due to the presence of liver on right side, it is shorter. Right lung is shorter. Okay, but actually wider here. Wider. I tell you, I repeat you. Right lung is shorter but wider in appearance. Same thing if you see the left lung, it is longer but narrower because heart is most pushed towards left side. Heart is situated more on the left side, so it is narrower. Due to the same reason, left lung is longer but narrower. The next difference. Third one is anterior border of a right lung is straight, okay, but the anterior border of left lung is having a cardiac notch and then lingula. Lingula. No such features on the right lung. Right lung. Moving on to the root. Okay, in the root we have one pulmonary bronchus, one bronchus, one pulmonary artery, two pulmonary veins on the left side. Similarly, on the right side we have two bronchus, eparterial and hyparterial bronchus. That again makes a clear difference here. Similarly, the bronchial vessel, when we see, there are two on the left side and one on the right side, one on the right lung. Similarly, we can have a difference even in the relation of the structures present in mediastinal surface. We have a large groove for the ascending arch and descending aorta. We have a very small arch here on the right side by the azygous vein. On the right side, a small azygous vein is related over here. And other relations like esophagus, trachea on right side makes a difference between right and left lungs. Okay. Lastly, I am talking you on fissures and lobes. Do you see this lung now is completely separated by presence of a fissure over here. This fissure usually begins from the below the hilum and runs all the way, cuts completely the lung and cuts even the hilum, cuts even the apex except the hilum. Whole of the lung is divided into two lobes by presence of a oblique fissure. The same thing you can see it on the opposite side also. See, it is completely divided except at the hilum, So that is the oblique fissure. On the right side, we have additionally one more horizontal fissure which divides the anteriorly situated lobe into two upper and lower lobes. This division of the two lobes is mainly to aerate the different areas of the lung. During quiet breathing, the normal breathing, we aerate only the anterior superior part of the lung only, During forced and forced breathing, we use the basal and posterior part of the lung. Hope you can see it here. They are clearly divided here. Okay. By that way, lung has been, by presence of fissures, lung has been divided into three lobes on the right side, two lobes on the left side. Am I clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
By that, I come to an end. By now, you should be able to hold the lung in anatomical position. I ask you to make a palm like this. Then keep the base of a lung in a respective hand. Identify the anterior border. Identify the apex. Identify the base. So once you identify all these three, your site determination will become very easy. Okay. So anterior border should be in front. Posterior border should be behind. And apex should be above. Base should be below. And sternocostal surface will help you to determine the side which belongs to the respective side. So this lung is left lung. Here I am holding you the right lung. Right lung, you hold it in a right hand only. I made a point clearly on difference between right and left lung. Differentiation of right and left lung. Okay, you may have a 5-mark question on difference between right and left lung, and even the lung as a 10-mark question. Definitely, it will come everywhere. Okay, forget about the exam and all. The present scenario is the corona situation. What you are facing is actually due to the deformities occurring in the lung itself. So study the lung properly so that you can guide your neighbors, parents, relatives properly to keep it functioning. Make a long breathing, take long breathing, make some yoga. So that will definitely help the exercising for the lung. That is the better exercise for a present situation. Yoga is best treatment for present scenario. With these words, I end my topic. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
So left lung has 2 bronchial vessels and right lung has 1 bronchial vessel.
Yeah.
That's right.
Correct. Bronchial artery especially.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now I want a feedback whether this we are trying to show you through the webcams and all. Please give us the feedback whether it was clearly visible or was there any lag or any difficulties if you are facing. If you let us know, we can rectify those difficulties, and in the next week we can go for better than this for the hard topic. Any difficulties?
No, sir.
It was
No,
clearly
sir.
visible.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So we can go ahead with the same approach for the heart also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
In
sir.
the next
Yes,
week,
sir.
next week I will take a heart on the same this thing only. Heart we will discuss on the next week. Next dissection class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
If you feel any difficulties, you can tell us so that we will rectify it. So that the next class will be better than this. What I feel. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, 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 sir.
Yes. Somebody was saying any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.